Hello to everybody, welcome back. I'm here to talk about the newest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie and newest Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, the amount of hype and craziness that's been going around surrounding this movie for the past year and a half is something out of this world. It's like some Endgame or Infinity War type stuff, which, as you'll see when we get into it, it's a pretty fair statement to compare it to those type of movies, because the amount of fan theories, speculations, and what's this in this movie is on that type of level. It really is. So before I really dive into my thoughts on this movie and stuff, let me just be fair and say it's next to impossible to talk about this movie without talking about some spoiler parts in it. I'll try not to dive into too many spoiler parts, but just know they're in here. So if you haven't seen the movie, please go watch it before you watch this video. Thank you so much. Now, the film takes place literally right after the events of Far From Home, where Mysterio, who was played by Jake Gyllenhaal, revealed Peter Parker's identity to the world, and now this movie takes on the repercussions on him being discovered and him being framed for the drone attack and all that stuff in London, and how it affects him, MJ, his friend Ned, his Aunt May, everyone else that's, friends and family with him, and like his inner circle. Everyone gets affected horribly by this. The three kids, Peter, MJ, Ned, they lose their scholarship to get into MIT because of all the controversy. They go through all this public opinion on everyone hating them and all bunch of stuff. And Peter finally decides, there has to be some way to prevent all that from happening. So he goes to meet Doctor Strange to see if there's a spell that can make everyone forget about what happened or rewind time or something. So he, in the middle of doing that, the spell gets messed up, and a bunch of villains from the other live-action Spider-Man movies like Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Electro, etc. all come in, and you have to capture them all basically and defeat them and save the world again. You know how it goes in these type of movies. And the amount of craziness in this movie, I'm smiling and all, because this was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had in my life. There were moments where when something crazy happened. I remember the first one. Now, this is what I talked about when I said there would be spoilers. So really, last chance, guys. When the Charlie Cox from the Daredevil show was his lawyer, which everyone was predicting would happen. It made so much sense, and it just seemed like the perfect choice, and it actually happened. When he first showed up, I was literally like, no way, no way! And I started applauding and screaming, and everyone joined in with me, because this type of audience, I think they were kind of hesitant on doing all that, because they didn't know if everyone wanted to be a happy, crazy crowd. They just wanted to watch the movie. I made sure that we were a happy, crazy crowd. I was freaking out throughout most of the surprises in this movie. Everyone joined in on me. It was so perfect. It was such a blast to watch this movie. I really want to see it again, because there's so much replayability value that you want to rewatch it so many times, because there's so much galore in this movie that if you're a Spider-Man fan, Marvel fan, or whatever you want to call it, you're going to love it so much. There's some great character moments in this movie too, between characters. Near the end of the movie, when the thing that happens with Aunt May happens, which is just horrifically tragic. How it happened was just so crazy and just so sad, and I just wasn't expecting something like that, really. It just blew me away about how real and just how grounded it was in the sequence, and it was just so it was just crazy. It really was. A lot of people in my theater were crying for sure. And then the moment where Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield show up, we all knew they were. They showed up, and they had a talk with Tom Holland, Spider-Man, about them losing loved ones and trying to comfort him and stuff like that. Was fantastic. Everything with the three of them together, the fight scene, the dialogues, them doing science stuff, come up with cures and stuff for the villains to try to save them, because the main thing is that when Tom Holland Spider-Man finds out that they're gonna when they get sent back to their realities, almost all of them end up being killed. He wants to try to save them because that's what he does. He wants to save people. He's a hero. So Doctor Strange just wants to send them back and say sacrifice is needed and all that. And so they get into an epic fight where it goes through like the mirror dimension and all sorts of stuff. That was something else entirely. And you know how I'm barely talking about that because of all the other stuff, but that alone would have been so cool to witness. Just the fight sequences in this movie are so good. The performances from everyone's really good. I'm so glad for Zendaya because at first when she was in the Homecoming movie, she didn't really get much to do. But with Far From Home and this, she solidified herself as one of my favorite iterations of MJ. I thought she was terrific. You know, the guy who plays Ned, Jacob Batalon, he was really good. Tom Holland kills it in this movie in so many ways. There's so many layers that he brought to the portrayal of his Peter Parker in Spider-Man. It was just so good. And you see him go to like a dark place in this movie, and it was so satisfying to watch his development throughout the MCU as of now. And it's just perfect, and it fits in with the rest of the universe so well. Because I was very curious, because I was worried that this would be the excuse to take him out of the MCU or something like that. But no, he's still in it, and I really liked how everything was handled. I was really curious on like some of these stuff. Like, is this too much to put into a movie? Will this work? And it honestly did. Everything worked well. Now, I know there's probably some critiques that people will come up with or nitpicks, but honestly, I can't think of any. Like, for example, the score by Michael Giacchino is top notch. Like, it's some really great music. I love that guy so much. He's composed some of my favorite movies in recent memory. He's usually known for doing a lot of Pixar and Disney movies. Like, he did Zootopia, Up, The Incredibles. He's done a bunch of great work. I think he did Rogue One, a Star Wars story as well. He's a really good musical composer, and I'm just glad that he was given the realms to this Spider-Man trilogy, because his take on the music in this series is so good. And just all the performances, like Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, Jamie Foxx as Electro, like everyone brings their A game. It looks like they were right from their movies. Nothing really changed, except probably their age, obviously. But it was just so satisfying to watch. Like, I was really wondering if they were going to be able to capture the magic on how they performed previously in those other movies, and I thought they did solid. Like, Tobey Maguire, who I haven't seen in a film since The Great Gatsby in 2013. I know he's been in stuff like Boss Baby or crap like that, but like seeing him again was so nice, and just seeing the main thing for me was seeing these three Spider-Man interact off each other. I grew up, with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. Those were one of the movies that I grew up watching, and I really think Andrew Garfield was so underutilized in his own movies, because those movies were horrible, and he was so good. And they were both given so much to do in this movie. I was so happy. It was just such a delight to watch this movie. I loved it so much. It's really rare for me to be this happy and gushing about a movie, but I mean, this movie delivered on all aspects. The fights were really great, the action was awesome, the performances were really solid, the character beats and emotional storytelling was great, the music was good, it looked great. There's a lot of goodies that sets up for Marvel fans and Spider-Man fans. There's even a tease for Doctor Strange 2 in there. So much in this movie was so perfect for me. That's all I have to say about it, honestly. These were my thoughts on Spider-Man No Way Home. Again, a terrific movie. I loved it so much. I plan on seeing it a few more times, whether in theaters or on streaming or whatever. It's so good. It's so good. Again, thank you all so much for watching a fanboy talk about this movie. If you want to hit the subscribe button and the bell as well to get notified on when I upload, that would be amazing. And comment down below, did you love the movie? Did you hate the movie? Let me know. Again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.